Her father respected her feelings. He told her she could marry Philip, but only if she waited until she was 21. So she waited. For years. In July 1947, Elizabeth turned 21 years old. That same year, on July 9th, she and Philip became officially engaged. Philip gave her a beautiful ring made from diamonds that belonged to his mother. The news spread across the world. The future queen was getting married. Their royal wedding took place on November 20th, 1947, at Westminster Abbey, London. It was just 2 years after World War II had ended, and people were still healing. The wedding gave them hope, joy, and something to celebrate. Elizabeth wore a beautiful white satin gown designed by Norman Hartnell. It had 10,000 pearls and a long train. She even used ration coupons to pay for the dress, just like any other woman at the time. Philip had to give up his Greek and Danish titles and become a British citizen. He was given a new title, His Royal Highness, the Duke of Edinburgh. They looked happy, young, and full of love. The nation watched. The world smiled. After the wedding, Elizabeth and Philip moved into Clarence House, a home in London. They tried to live a normal life, as normal as royals could be. In 1948, Elizabeth gave birth to their first child, Prince Charles. He would one day become king. 2 years later, in 1950, they had their daughter, Princess Anne. Philip and Elizabeth were loving parents. Philip taught the children to sail, fish, and live a strong life. Elizabeth told bedtime stories and gave hugs. At this time, Elizabeth was not yet queen. Her father, King George VI, was still king. But his health was getting worse. He smoked too much and had serious health problems. Elizabeth knew her life was about to change. In 1952, Elizabeth and Philip went on a royal tour to Kenya, a country in Africa. It was part of the British Empire. They stayed in a beautiful wooden lodge, high in the trees, where you could watch elephants and wild animals. It was during this peaceful stay, on February 6, 1952, that Elizabeth got the news. Her father, King George VI, had died. She was now the new Queen of the United Kingdom. She was just 25 years old, standing under the trees in Africa, wearing a simple dress, holding binoculars to look at animals. And in that moment, she became Queen Elizabeth II. Elizabeth returned to London immediately. The world watched her plane land. She walked down the steps not as a princess, but as the new queen. She looked calm, sad, and strong. The Prime Minister and other royal leaders greeted her. She had lost her father and gained a crown, all in the same moment. She moved into Buckingham Palace, the official home of the monarch. Her life was now filled with meetings, ceremonies, speeches, and royal duties. On June 2nd, 1953, her coronation was held at Westminster Abbey. It was the first royal coronation shown on television. Millions of people across the world watched the 27-year-old queen wear the crown of St. Edward and sit on the throne. She held a golden orb, a scepter, and made a promise. "I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service." And she meant every word. Now she was a young mother, a wife, and the queen of many nations, all at once. Philip had to adjust too. He had to walk 2 steps behind her wife, something that was difficult for him in the beginning. He had to give up his Navy career, which he loved, but he did it because he loved her. Behind the palace doors, they were like any other couple. They laughed, argued, supported each other, and shared quiet moments. They spent evenings reading, watching TV, or walking together in the gardens. They wrote notes to each other, had breakfast together whenever they could, and always respected each other's roles. Part 3. The Life of a Young Queen. Power, Parenthood, and Public Duty. She ruled not just the United Kingdom, but also Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and many countries in Africa, the Caribbean, and Asia. These were part of the British Empire, which was slowly changing into something new called the Commonwealth. A group of nations linked by history, friendship, and cooperation. So her job wasn't just about Britain. She had to understand many cultures, travel to many places, and connect with many people. She worked every single day, including holidays. She read official papers daily in a red leather box, even on Christmas. Every morning, she met with advisors, ministers, or world leaders. Every evening, she read reports and wrote notes. She couldn't vote. She couldn't give personal opinions. She couldn't even choose where to live freely. She belonged to the people now. But behind palace doors, she was also a mother and a wife. Let's talk about her family life in detail. She had 4 children, each very different. First, Prince Charles, born 1948, quiet, sensitive, thoughtful, grew up knowing he would one day be king. This was not easy for him. Second, Princess Anne, born 1950, strong, independent, and sporty, loved horses and didn't care much about fashion or fame. Third, Prince Andrew, born 1960, charming, bold, and fun-loving, became a helicopter pilot in the Navy. 4, Prince Edward, born 1964, kind, shy, and artistic, loved theater and film. Elizabeth loved her children deeply, but her schedule was always full. She tried to spend mornings with them, have breakfast when possible, and attend special events. But royal duties often pulled her away. Philip helped a lot with parenting. He taught the kids discipline, confidence, and courage. He pushed them to be strong. Elizabeth and Philip were married for 73 years, one of the longest royal marriages in history. They were very different people. Elizabeth was calm, quiet, and serious. Philip was energetic, blunt, and had a big sense of humor. But they balanced each other perfectly. Philip made her laugh when things got hard. Elizabeth gave him love and respect. They wrote notes to each other every day. He called her Lilibet. She called him my strength and stay. They had little traditions, evening walks, afternoon tea, and picnics in the Scottish countryside. They both loved dogs, horses, and nature. Their favorite place was Balmoral Castle in Scotland. There they wore simple clothes, cooked food themselves, and enjoyed family time away from the cameras. Let's talk about her fashion and personality, because many people are curious. Queen Elizabeth was known for her bright-colored coats, matching hats, and handbags. Why did she wear such bright colors? "So people can see me," she once said. She believed that when someone travels far to see the Queen, they should be able to spot her from a distance. She wanted people to feel seen and respected. She always wore pearls, small gloves, and black shoes. She didn't follow trends, but she had her own royal style. Her personality was very disciplined, always on time, quietly funny. She loved small jokes and pranks. Private, she never showed too much emotion in public. Strong-minded. Once she decided something, she rarely changed her mind. Loyal to her family, her country, and her people. Even queens face challenges, and Elizabeth had many. Let's talk about the problems in her family. 1980.